very good at what they do on the investment management side, not so good on the annuity side. Do better. There's a handful of other ones out there, but captive agents can only offer the products that are available to that specific carrier. Whereas an independent agent, which is what we are here at Annuity Association, we have no allegiance to any carrier. We have no allegiance to any product. Shoot, as a matter of fact, we don't even have an allegiance to any IMO, which is if you're not familiar with our organization, when you're an advisor, in order to offer products, you have to have a relationship with an IMO, and the IMO is kind of the middleman between the advisor and the carrier or the annuity provider. Most carriers don't allow direct contracts. So a firm like ours, even though that we do a good amount of volume, we can't just go to Nationwide and be like, hey, we just want to, sign up directly with you. We have to go through their channel, which is their distribution channel, which is called an IMO. So with that being said, because we're an independent advisory firm, we're not just captive or not captive, but we're not even just, relying on one IMO. We have relationships with, I don't know, it's probably 8 or 9 different IMOs now. And the reason for that is, and it's just a part of the crap in our industry. And I hate to bash it, but it sounds like I am, and I am, because there's a lot of wrong crap in this industry. Yeah. But there's like exclusive relationships in the IMO world where a carrier will say, hey, we're going to make this product, but we're going to make it exclusive just to you, and no other IMO can offer it. So if you're working with an advisor that's under an IMO that doesn't have that exclusive product relationship with that carrier, you're never going to be shown that product. And so in order for us to truly be independent, we have struck up relationships with every major IMO out there so that if there's an exclusive offer, we have access to it and we can offer it. And so then we can do the right thing by you. And that's ultimately acting in your best interest.
Yeah. Yeah. And we've seen that firsthand, and several times where we've pulled different information from one IMO, compared it to another. And again, it's just, we've got to vet through the information as we receive it, and then interpret it to the client's best interest. And that's what we're doing.
Yeah. So that's a key there. And so if you're working with somebody, ask them, are you an independent agent? And make them prove it to you. Most of the time they can't, but it's important for you to have that independent agent representing you, because then they can show you the entire marketplace.
Yeah, it would almost put in here as this top 5 list that we had mentioned as to why these mistakes happen is not working with an independent agent. I hate to put it that way, but I think that's crucial in this scenario.
For sure.
Moving on to our final point. So we've touched on lack of knowledge, the reasons why these mistakes happen: lack of knowledge, pressure from salespeople, misleading marketing, captive agents, or not working with an independent agent. And lastly is that there was really no efficient way to compare products until now. There really hasn't been any easy way for consumers to compare all the annuities side by side in an unbiased manner. And that's really, again, where we come into play, what Jeremiah had created with the company, and everybody in our association, what our mission is.
Yeah, and that was the biggest pain point for me, that when I started as a young advisor in this industry, it was hard as hell for me to figure out how to compare all the products that were out there. And when I found out, so just a quick story, I work for a smaller insurance marketing organization, and they weren't really set up for retirement planning and annuities and income planning and those things. They're more of a life insurance based insurance marketing organization, but they did have some annuity products. And when I started to learn about annuities, I saw the benefits and features and how they could be a very important, powerful tool for many people in retirement. And I will never forget, I got my first appointment for someone to talk about annuities. And, I sat down with them. This is back in the day when we used to go to their homes, actually. And I sat down with them, and they were a prime candidate for an annuity. They were very risk averse. They had recently retired. They had a decent amount of money saved, and they didn't want to risk it in the markets. And they were just sitting in like back then it was a money market account, and it was literally earning like a 1% interest. This is when interest rates are real low. And I said to them, I said, well, what if you could get into something that would give you a guarantee of principal protection, but give you a bit more upside than what you're getting? Would that, make sense to you? And of course they did say that it would. So then I went back to my manager at the time and said, hey, his name was Brad. I said, Brad, I said, hey, I've got this client here that is a great, an annuity would be a great fit for them. Can you help me figure out which one is going to be the right one for them? And he says, I don't know, man. He's like, we don't have a way to like compare it. Just go through the brochures, figure out what sounds good, and then show them like one or two of those. And like, to me, I'm like thinking, I'm sitting there, I'm like, dude, this is their retirement. Like at that time, that small company only had like maybe a dozen annuity products to offer. And so I had to compare. And so what I did is I built this Excel spreadsheet, and I created the columns for the features and shit. Excuse my language. And features and benefits. And I went and, created the spreadsheet. And then I was like, all right, I found the one that's the right one out of the 12. But then I started exploring, and I found out that there's hundreds of these products out there, not just 12. And so I went back to Brad and I said, here's what I came up with, man, but there's hundreds of these products. Why don't we offer them? And he's like, that's not what we do. We're not set up for that. Nobody's really set up for that. We have the 12 that we felt were a decent offering, and those are the ones we can offer. So go back and offer that product, whatever product you came up with, to them. And I remember driving to that client's house, man, and I was like, this just doesn't seem right. Like, I can't do this. And long story short, that was the catalyst
Light
to
bulb moment.
annuity. Yeah, that was the catalyst to Annuity Association.